Gaia's Disciple, a story from Richard Hampton's Gallery of Tragedies, narrated by Bobby Lax. So, first things first, ground rules. I do not represent Olympus Games nor the Fogel family. I have been hired by the court to be an independent party, a negotiator of sorts, to see if we can come to a resolution to this incident before you head to trial. Arbitration is a beautiful thing when it works. You save money, time, and 9 times out of 10, you get a better judgment for both parties than if you went to trial. Were you to go to trial, one of you would win. The victory would be lopsided, 90-10, and while I'm sure both of you would love to be the 90, I know you'd hate to be the 10. So why not meet in the middle, hash it out, and come to an arrangement both of you can stomach? How does that sound? No way, Samantha Fogel snapped. Not a chance. Okay, Dr. Kearns said, turning to me. What about you, Mr. Nevitz? I'll hear you out, I said. Samantha seethed. I could tell by the way she glared at Dr. Kearns that she didn't trust him. She thought he was a spy, a mole planted by Olympus Games to talk her down off her ledge. That's okay. Let her be that way. Her unravelling would only make her position worse. Olympus Games was absolutely in the right here. If anything, we were being too easy on her by going through arbitration. I told John and Kirk so at the time, but they insisted we give this a chance. I knew they were afraid of her going to the press. The court of public opinion was more unfair than any judgment the courts or arbitration could render. Just hear her out, John said. Give her something, Kirk said. Make it worth her while to just go away. We didn't do anything wrong, John said. The lawyers have gone through every document and contract with a fine-tooth comb, and they can't find anything. We aren't guilty. But we need to be gentle and not cause any waves with this. You'll do fine, Lee, Kirk told me. Just go with the flow. Keep us safe. Don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat. A classic Kirkism. What did that mean exactly? Can she get a payout? Should she sign a contract? A non-disclosure agreement? Do we do anything for her son? Surely not. That would just be a slap in the face, right? Ms. Fogel, Dr. Kearns said, we can't start to heal and get what we both want if you come in so aggressively from the Start to heal, Samantha laughed incredulously. You gotta be kidding me, Kearns. My son is dead, dead, because of these vipers. She jabbed a finger, a middle finger to be specific, in my face. Ms. Fogel, I said, please, I don't treat you with any disrespect, so I ask you to do the same for me. This is going to be a long day otherwise. I don't owe you anything, Samantha snarled. You're lucky I even look you in the eye. Ms. Fogel, Mr. Nevitz, Dr. Kearns shouted, please, let me do the talking. Don't address each other, address me. You're talking through me. That's the only way this is going to work, okay? Okay, I said. Samantha said nothing. Good, Dr. Kearns said unconvincingly. Okay, let's start with you, Miss Fogel. Please, tell me why you are here today. I'm here because the court forced me to be. No, put that aside. Why do you find yourself in this situation with Olympus Games? Their game killed my son. How? Start from the beginning. Fill me in like I have no idea what happened, because I'm fuzzy on most of the finer details. Okay, Samantha said. Her body relaxed for the first time since the meeting started. She reached for a box of tissues placed strategically in front of her. My son, Jeremy, he loved video games. Ever since he was a little boy, he was just enthralled with them. My ex, Jason, bought him his first console, the PS5, when Jeremy was just 5 years old. Looking back, I would have never let that happen, had I known what it would lead to. She trailed off. The only noise in Dr. Kern's study was the etchings of his pen as he wrote notes on his yellow legal pad. He was sitting at the middle of the boardroom desk in front of a bookshelf, while Samantha and I were at opposite ends of the long table, like fighting siblings separated by their parents. Dr. Kearns was in his mid-50s, wearing thick glasses and a sweater vest. If Santa Claus had lost £100 and traded in his reindeer for a psychology degree, he'd be the spitting image of our arbitrator. It was hard keeping up with Jeremy, Samantha continued. He'd talk all day and night about all the different games he was playing, his online friends, Twitch and microtransactions and all other internet nonsense. I was just tickled that he had something he was so interested in. Jeremy never fit in with his peers. He was an odd duck, but we didn't care. Jason and I were proud of him for being himself. He never seemed to care that he was the nerd. The kids in the class called him and his friends the Nerd Brigade. She laughed at that. None of them cared either. They wore it as a badge of honour. He and his 3 other friends, Logan, Matt and Josh. They were the dorkiest dorks you could ever imagine, and they didn't care. The Nerd Brigade stayed close all throughout grade school and into high school. Jason tried his damnedest to turn Jeremy into a man's man, a kid who worked out or played sports or was interested in girls, but Jeremy couldn't have cared less. One year, Jason convinced Jeremy to join the high school JV soccer team. Jeremy puked every single practice. She laughed again, this time harder. The kind of laughter that I'm sure seemed forced to people that did not know Samantha, but I could tell it was genuine. Even all the way on the other side of the room, I could tell that Jeremy was Samantha's world. The lines in her smile and bags under her eyes told me all I needed to know about her. She had traded in her youth, her beauty, her body and soul for her son. She stayed up late to help him with his homework. She worked 2 jobs to support him and get him a good education. She fought to keep her divorce as frictionless as possible, so Jeremy could still have a relationship with his father. She was a good mum. Outside of this room, I'd have nothing but respect for that. But this was war. It was my job to bring home a win for Olympus Games. So her love for Jeremy was of no consequence to me or my bosses. Being a good caring mother was no virtue. It made no difference. She was in the wrong, and she was coming after us now, and we had the signatures to prove it. I didn't fight Jeremy's nature like Jason did, Samantha said. I let him be himself. In high school, the Nerd Brigade came over to our house constantly. They had a string of 4 or 5 years straight, celebrating New Year's with us. While their classmates were out getting wasted, smoking weed, and getting their parties busted by cops, my son and his friends were taking turns playing Super Smash Brothers and screaming at the top of their lungs all night long. I'd buy bags and bags of Doritos, Cheetos, and Hostess cupcakes, and they'd drink Mountain Dew Voltage all night long. It was fun, unconventional, unremarkable, but fun. That fun ended when Gaia's disciple came along. Samantha's nostalgic smile disappeared at the mention of the game. If we were on a roller coaster, this would be the point in time I'd buckle my seat. She was glaring at me from across the room now. Her hands were clenched, gripping the desk so hard it would shatter if it wasn't mahogany. Dr. Kearns could sense it too. He straightened in his chair and placed his pen on his yellow legal notepad, ready for the real story to begin. Ms. Fogel, Dr. Kearns said, may I interrupt real quick and pivot to Mr. Nevetts for a moment? Yes, she snarled. Thank you. Mr. Nevetts, before Ms. Fogel goes into her son's experience with the game, could you give me the 10,000-foot view of what this game entails? Of course, I cleared my throat. Gaia's Disciple is an MMO. MMO, Dr. Kearns said. Oh, sorry, a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, I said. Think World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls. Dr. Kearns nodded and made a note on a legal pad. I see, he said. Please continue. I nodded. It was easy to forget Dr. Kearns' first video game ever was probably Pong. I needed to talk as simply as possible or he just wouldn't get it. The main draw of any MMO is connection. All of these games consist of a large number of players from all around the world competing on one server. If you log on to any of our MMOs right now, I guarantee you'll meet someone from every continent in the world within 15 minutes. Our players are making genuine, lasting connections with so many people online. Some are even meeting their soulmates, something no one thought would happen at the start of MMOs in the late 80s. At Olympus Games, our MMOs have many commonalities with other MMOs out there: credit and token systems, matchmaking, turn-based strategy, text communication, microtransactions, and the ability to customize everything from your character to your virtual home and everything in between. But what makes Olympus Games the leader in the industry is our immense focus on character. Samantha scoffed. Miss Fogel, please. Mr. Nevetts was respectful when you spoke. Be respectful when he speaks. I'll try my best, Dr. Kearns, Samantha said with a mocking wink. I'd like to see you try maintaining respect with someone who killed your child. Miss Fogel! It's okay, Dr. Kearns, I said. It's okay. I'll continue. Good. The more insolent she became, the better the case would go for me. I needed to remain above the fray, the adult in the room. Dr. Kearns would respect that. Olympus would win, Samantha would lose, and I'd get a giant stamp of approval from John and Kirk for a job well done. As I was saying, we have a major focus on character in our MMOs at Olympus. Our characters are simply the best. Every poll, online forum and gaming magazine says so. At Olympus, we believe it's the characters that make the worlds feel most real. We hire top talent in the voice acting industry and use the top motion capture technology at our disposal to create lifelike characters. When you interact with a character Olympus Games created, that character feels real. Gaia's Disciple is the best example of this. We invested over $400 million into this game, and a good half of that went into creating Gaia. We hired Asa Fleming to play the role of Gaia, an ancient Greek goddess of the earth. Asa spent 2 years as Gaia. We recorded her voice, her movements, her every move in our studio. We invested in deep-fake software and AI rendering to create the most realistic 3D model ever created. The technology used to create Gaia is so proprietary, no one is allowed to take their computers home from our HQ. That technology, quite literally, is the most significant asset ever produced by Olympus Games, far more valuable than any game we've ever released. What's the goal of the game? Dr. Kearns asked. What is the player supposed to do? I'm glad you asked. The game starts with the player waking up in the afterlife. They are introduced to Gaia. She tells them their lives are filled with evil and wickedness when they were alive, and that they've been given one last chance at reaching the afterlife if they help her. She instructs them to return to Earth and be her disciple. The player is to be her eyes and ears on the ground. The player is to follow every task, every request, and every mission she gives them to a T. They are to raise armies, build civilizations, and conquer in her name. Players start off with nothing but a sword, a satchel of money, and a feather and quill. They can choose a warpath with the sword and begin conquering minor villages and gain prestige, or they can choose the money path and become a trader and raise their wealth, or they can take the quill and enter politics as a writer. Regardless of the path the player chooses, Gaia gives them the same end goal. She is to become the Queen of planet Earth, and the player is her vehicle. Because of the intensity of Asa's performance as Gaia and the many hours spent with her, the first 7 hours of the game are dialogue-heavy with Gaia, the player is enthralled immediately with her and her goals. "Huh!" Samantha scoffed. "Dr. Kearns, that's the biggest load of bull. Don't listen to a word this snake says." "Miss Fogel, I'm serious." "It's not the dialogue," Samantha exclaimed. "It's not the fucking technology or the acting that makes players listen to her. It's her damn ass and tits. Gaia fucks the player the first time she sees them." "I don't think—" Dr. Kearns turns to me, confused, but Samantha presses on. Yes, I'm not kidding. Tell him, Lee. Tell him what Gaia does the moment you meet her. Hell, tell him the opening scene." "Mr. Nevitz?" Dr. Kearns asked. "Well," I said, "she's telling the truth, Dr. Kearns. We immerse the player immediately into Gaia's world, the moment they meet her, through sex." "And not just any sex," Samantha exclaims. "Sex with Asa fucking Fleming. You know, the lingerie model, the Victoria's Secret angel. These assholes knew what they were doing when they hired her. They hired one of the most attractive women in the world to play a goddess who screws the player within the first hour of getting to know them." "Please, Samantha, let me explain to Dr. Kearns so he gets the full picture. Please." "Full picture, my ass," Samantha whispered. "Yes, Gaia has sex with the player." "What do you mean, sex?" Dr. Kearns asked. "It's a virtual game." Oh, Samantha laughed. "Wait till you hear this, Dr. Kearns." Every sale of Gaia's Disciple comes with a haptic feedback suit and VR headset that, shall we say, fully engages the player. "You hear that?" Samantha said. "My little boy, Jeremy, who has never even kissed a girl in his life, has hardcore, realistic sex with a Greek goddess through a headset and haptic feedback suit. He literally just started the game, and boom! He has one of the most impactful moments of his life with Gaia. He lost his virginity to a fucking video game." "Mr. Nevitz, excuse me for all the questions, but why did Olympus Games find it necessary to include this somewhat boorish behaviour right at the start of the video game? Can't the player be immersed with just the dialogue, graphics and world-building?" "This is what sets us apart, Dr. Kearns." "Ha! Letting little boys have sex with a supermodel 5 minutes into the game is what sets them apart, Dr. Kearns," Samantha laughed. "The player is instantly bonded with Gaia," I said, ignoring Samantha's mockery. "They have an emotional connection with her. They have a desire to make her happy and do right by her. Within 1 hour of gameplay, the player is willing to do anything for her. With that context, the player sets out into the virtual world to conquer, to please her. Imagine, for the moment, how powerful that driver is. Imagine what you would do for your first love. I remember her. Her name was Ashley Benson, my 7th grade Spanish partner. Oh, for Christ's sake! I was head over heels. If she asked me to jump, I'd ask how high. If she demanded I move with her to become an ice fisher in rural Canada, I'd race to the store to buy snow boots. I was nuts. Surely you had a first love, Dr. Kearns? That I did, Dr. Kearns smiled. Martha Henry. We dated for 1 year. One of the best years of my life. See? Now, imagine Martha is in a video game and telling you daily what to do, how much you mean to her, and how important it is that you make her happy. Wouldn't you move mountains for her? Wouldn't you do whatever you could to keep her happy? Tell Dr. Kearns what happens if you start disappointing her, Samantha said. Well, if you aren't advancing in the game, whether you get sidetracked and don't play as much, which, as we've established, is very unlikely, or you just aren't doing well and other players are taking more land, more money and more resources than you, well, Gaia starts neglecting you. She answers less when you call. She refuses your romantic advances when you put on our VR glasses and haptic suit. Her fuse is shorter. And that is exactly what happened to my Jeremy, Samantha interjected. He wasn't doing well. He lost his virginity to this CGI supermodel and spent the next 3 months trying to do everything to please her. He would come home and run straight to his computer. He'd turn off all the lights, refuse to eat dinner, and stay up until 3, 4, even 5 in the morning playing. I'd hear him crying at night. The game, it has some kind of AI voice recognition, so whatever Jeremy says to Gaia, she will have a unique response back. She was disappointed in him, and he took it hard. And I had no clue this was going on. I knew he was hopelessly addicted to the game, but I didn't realize why. I got angry and frustrated with him when his grades started slipping and he began skipping school. Wait, Dr. Kearns interjected. Before we continue, Mr. Nevitz, is this a common occurrence among the players? Jeremy can't be the only kid who was, in a sense, rejected by Gaia, right? Correct. It splits around 70-30. 70% of players can't live up to Gaia's demands. They can't raise enough money, take enough territory, or rise in the political ranks fast enough for her demands. But, that being said, most players are able to separate the game life from their real life. Very few have as hard a time as Jeremy unfortunately did. "Keep his name out of your mouth!" Samantha yelled. It was like she'd shot a bullet through the room. Dr. Kearns was speechless, his mouth gaping open wide, as he struggled to find something to say to reprimand her. I felt a foot smaller in my seat, a feeling of shame, followed by confusion washing over me. Why should I feel bad? I knew I was in the right, as was Olympus Games. There was nothing we did wrong or illegally, but even still, I felt shame. Samantha smiled. She knew for the first time so far she had gotten one over me. She doubled down. "Keep Jeremy's name out of your mouth!" she spat, spittle peppering the table. "You corporate greedy suit!" "Okay." Dr. Kearns raised his hands. "Okay, enough, Miss Fogel. This is seriously getting out of hand. We have no hope of a successful arbitration when your behavior is like this. I'm going to pull the plug on this unless you wait your turn and treat Mr. Nevitz with respect." Samantha was silent. She had her arms crossed like a scolded teenager. Her face was fiery from her explosion, skin so red and throat so veiny and throbbing. Her fury showed no signs of tempering. "Miss Fogel," Dr. Kearns asked again, "will you keep things civil?" You'd need a microscope to see the smallest hint of nod she gave Dr. Kearns. He leaned back, satisfied. He motioned to me to continue. "Thank you, Doctor. To date, Jeremy is the only person ever to have died as a result of playing the game. I would argue, I think successfully, that the death was in conjunction with him playing the game, but not the outright cause. Gaia played on his emotions, of course, but there had to be an underlying issue ongoing that led to his suicide. Kids killing themselves as a result of a video game is extremely uncommon. Olympus Games has been in the business of video game creation for 4 decades now. If we had a suicide problem, we'd be hearing about it a lot more before now. What is your response to that, Miss Fogel? I have a question for Lee. Okay, go for it. Lee, Samantha started. Do you have kids? Yes, 1 boy. What is his name? Tim. Would you ever let Tim play Gaia's disciple? Well, no. Samantha's eyes lit up as she turned to Dr. Kearns. See, she said, Tim is only 11 years old. The game is rated M. He'd have to wait until he's at least 18. Okay, she said, let's assume he turns 18. Would you let him play Gaia's disciple? I paused. She smiled. Checkmate. She knew she had me. The easy answer is yes. I'd let Tim play the game. But was that the truth? This was a legal setting. I couldn't lie. The game was, to put it lightly, intense. The addictive quality of the game was nearly insurmountable. Players seriously struggled to quit it. The average game length was 6 months of 8-hour days to complete, and that was before the DLC launched. There were stories of adults quitting their jobs to play the game. Some even wore diapers so they didn't ever have to stop. So there was the intensity and addictiveness. Then there was the emotional pull, the relationship. I'd met Asa when we started the development of the game, and, honestly, the video game version of the supermodel turned goddess of Earth was more intoxicating than the real-life actress who played her. Her voice was like the purr of a cat. Her feminine call to you when she needed you was tantamount to a baby crying for your help. You just had to answer. Her perfect hourglass shape, her seductive and suggestive clothing, her ability to hold intense conversations and remember every detail of your life. It rivaled even the most impressive women in real life. I myself refused to ever play the game, for fear of becoming seduced by her, as opposed to by my own wife. But I couldn't say that. I had to lie. I would let him play, but it wouldn't be 18. Maybe 25 or so. It is a very mature game, and at Olympus Games we have been upfront about that from the beginning. Gaia's disciple is a real investment in time, and frankly emotion, and I would want my son to be ready and fully aware of that when going into it. But if he can convince me he's ready, sure, I'd let him play. I wish I had been as discerning as you, Lee, Samantha said. I really wish. But hey, as long as it's not your kid playing when he's 15, who cares, right? That's not true. But it is. My son was able to order the game and download it to his computer without me even knowing. No warning message, no parental controls, nothing. It took 5 seconds. 5 seconds. And the end of his life began. I don't believe you one bit that you'd let your child play Gaia's disciple. Let's move on from Mr. Nevert's child, Miss Fogel, Dr. Kearns interjected. Tell us more about Jeremy's experience with the game. The lingering rage on Samantha's face changed to sadness, as if a switch had been flipped. Her eyes were downcast. Her clenched fists were now free and trembling, and her voice quivered as she spoke. Jeremy started skipping school. His grades suffered so much, I considered enrolling him with a tutor, but with how often he was playing the game, I knew that wouldn't work. All roads led to me threatening to ban the game in our household, and Jeremy, didn't take that well. He told me over and over again that he had to make her happy. He just had to make her happy. That's the tagline for the game, right, Mr. Nevetts? Dr. Kearns asked. Yes, Gaia's disciple, make her happy. He tried all right, Samantha cried. For the first time in his life, he became abusive toward me. He called me horrible things, bitch, whore, you name it. He slammed his bedroom door in my face, threw things at me, and broke things around the house. His room became a pigsty, and he stopped taking care of himself. He smelled awful. It was literally repulsive to even get close to his room. He stopped talking to his friends and inviting them over. Everything became about Gaia. Gaia this and Gaia that. His excuse for not coming to dinner was that Gaia needed him to take over a port city so he could unlock the mercantilism achievement. Or if he went to school and neglected his economic advisers, his country would become sick and revolt, throwing him out of power and insulting his dear Gaia in the process. It was ridiculous. His treatment of me became so extreme, I became worried he was going to physically hurt me. I asked Jason to step in at this point. She started shaking. She was flying through the tissue box now, white wads littering the desk in front of her, snot and tears choking her up and making her words more and more unintelligible. Jason went dude. It's okay, Miss Fogel. It's okay. Do you need a minute? Dr. Kearns asked. To Jeremy's room one day, and he had a talk with him. She started shaking her head and biting her lip. I felt for her. How couldn't I? She was a grieving mother. Nothing she shouted at me bothered me in the slightest. She wasn't in her right mind. Her poor son had died. He told Jeremy that he needed to stop playing, that he needed to get some help. And Jeremy, well, he punched Jason right in the face. His scrawny little arms flailed as he punched and kicked and scratched Jason. Jason barely fought back. He was too shocked. He came downstairs all bloody and told me it was no use. Jeremy would have to beat this addiction on his own terms. I shouldn't have taken that as an answer. I should have pushed back. But I think I was so shocked by what had happened that I just kind of carried on. I looked over at Dr. Kearns. He had tears in his eyes, tears he started wiping away with his pocket handkerchief. She was tugging on his heartstrings, and it was working. Hell, it was working on me. But the law didn't care about heartstrings or tears. Jeremy's suicide had nothing to do with Olympus Games. We can't be held legally responsible. Could you sue Facebook for someone cyberbullying you? Could you sue McDonald's for eating too many of their Happy Meals? There was no legal basis for Samantha's claims. I started Googling the game. I learned more about the technology behind Gaia and what the game was doing to people. Lee might not know this. Actually, I'm sure he doesn't, but there are forums all over the internet for people to share their experiences of what this game has done to them. There's a forum called Failed Disciples, where people are encouraging others to quit the game. People post video testimonials about their own struggles with addiction, self-harm, suicide, depression. It's rampant with this game. The guy who founded the site tried to kill himself because his wife stood no chance against Gaia. He was in a loveless marriage thanks to her. The game ruins people's lives. And I guarantee, Lee, that if your kid is unfortunate enough to play this hellish game, he will end up just like my son. Enough, I said. I turned to Dr. Kearns. She needs to stop bringing up my son. Agreed, Dr. Kearns said. Miss Fogel, please. Mr. Nevitz's son is off limits. He's not a part of this topic and your story. You should keep him away from the game, Samantha warned. I wish I had. Did you ever take the game away from him, Miss Fogel? Dr. Kearns asked. I did, Samantha said. After months of reading those forums and watching the testimonials and seeing what the game was doing to Jeremy, I did. When he took a bathroom break, I snuck into the room and deleted his account. I researched how to do it, practiced doing it quickly, and then I did it. How did he react? He nearly killed me. Jesus. He beat me. He punched me in the face, kicked me, and hit me so much I couldn't see any more. I lay on his bedroom floor all night, unconscious. Jason found me the next morning and called an ambulance. Where was Jeremy? Did Jason confront him in the house? He couldn't find him. Samantha's eyes were swimming in tears. Her chest rose and fell at a faster rate with each breath. Her hands shook on the desk, creating a rhythmic tap, tap, tap that echoed through the room. She opened her mouth to speak, but couldn't, bubbles of saliva forming and breaking before she could get any words out. Miss Fogel, that is enough. Please, no need to go on. No, she shouted. He needs to hear. She pointed at me. Fire was filling her again. I felt my heart rate quickening and heat rise under my collar. Miss Fogel, he needs to hear. He needs to know what his fucking game did to my son. Miss Fogel, he hung himself, she shouted. He hung himself from his favourite tree in the backyard. I found him when I came back from the hospital. His whole body was grey and purple. His neck was broken, and his head hung to one side. I screamed so violently my throat bled. I buried him 2 days later, and don't remember anything from it. My little boy, my sweet little boy, killed by Olympus Games. No, I said, my own voice now choking up. No, Dr. Kearns, this is not right. Samantha, I'm so sorry for your loss. It's incalculable, unimaginable. But this is not our fault. As I've said from the beginning, Olympus Games makes video games and consumers take them from there. Your son's death is a tragedy, but Olympus Games did not tie that noose. Samantha let out a scream and pushed back from the table. She was on her feet now, pacing back and forth, shouting vitriol at me from the other end of the table. Dr. Kearns rose and put out his hands between the two of us, as if he could somehow hold us apart. Miss Fogel, Dr. Kearns shouted, sit down. This lying, deceitful goon, Samantha shouted. You fucking killed my son. Enough, Miss Fogel. Sit down. Sit down. Samantha moved to the side of the table and began advancing toward me. Dr. Kearns' cries became louder and louder as she advanced. I stepped as far back as I could until my back was against the window to the office. Samantha, I'm sorry, but we are not legally at fault. We are not. And I know you know that. If we are found guilty by a court of law, people won't make video games anymore. If we are responsible for freak accidents that happen to customers, all entertainment companies would cease to exist. You fucking liar! Samantha screamed. That's it, Dr. Kearns screamed. He raced around the desk until he was right behind Samantha. She barely noticed. You're going to pay, Lee? Samantha smiled. This is over, Dr. Kearns screamed, grabbing Samantha's tank top and pulling her back to him, his arms so shaky he looked like he was reaching into a lion's cage at the zoo. It's never over, Samantha snarled at me. No, it is, Dr. Kearns said. There will be no damages in this case, and it will be dismissed forthwith. We cannot go to trial with your behaviour like this, Miss Fogel. Mr. Nevitz, you can leave. I made my way toward the door. Samantha struggled against Dr. Kearns' grip and watched me go. Her eyes were a mix of sadness and rage, the devil's mix of misery. I'm sorry, Samantha, I said before leaving the room. I really am. You will be, she said. How was your day, honey? I poured a deep glass of wine. That bad. My wife, Cindy, sighed. I'm sorry, babe, she said. I wish John and Kirk didn't put you in that position. You were pretty much the punching bag today. It's okay, I said. Somebody had to do it. I feel bad for that woman. I mean, it's not our fault her son died. Of course not. But that being said, the game is really addictive. And Gaia is... you should see that technology. She's so real, like photoreal. It's powerful stuff, Cindy said. But it's not on you guys to police who plays and who doesn't. That's up to the parents. And that woman failed her son in that sense. She shouldn't have let him play if she knew he was that unstable, apparently. Yeah. I was quiet for the rest of the meal. I couldn't get the image of Samantha walking around the table to scream at me out of my head. Her red face, her broken sobs, her shaking body and fists. It was locked in my brain, and I couldn't forget it. So, where's Timmy? He should be down here by now. He's upstairs. Want to go get him? Sure. I pushed my wine aside and rose from the table. I walked toward the stairs and slowly made my way up. By the time I reached his room, I didn't even remember walking up, my mind so clouded by Samantha's outburst. I knocked on his door. "Buddy," I called. "Time for dinner." No response. I knocked again. "Buddy, your dinner's getting cold. Time to eat." Still no response. I huffed. I grabbed the handle and turned the knob. I stepped into the room. The lights were off, the only illumination coming from Timmy's computer. He was sitting there, his back to me, his headset on, and his face so close to the screen, his nose nearly touched. "Buddy," I said, tapping him on the shoulder, "come on. Time to eat. Get up. Eat without me," he whispered. "What? What are you doing up here anyways? Come on. Time to eat." "I'm playing a game." "What game?" "A game some lady gave me after school." "What?" "Yeah," Timmy said, still not looking at me. "What game?" I asked. "It's called Gaia's Disciple," Timmy said. "I'm trying to collect gold so I can afford archers." "Son," I said, my voice in my throat, You can't play that game." "What?" he asked. "You can't play that game," I shouted. Timmy turned to me for the first time. His face was grey, and he had bags under his eyes. A haptic suit was lying to his left, and a VR headset was on his desk. "I have to play," he said. "I need to keep her happy. This game, it's too much for a kid, okay? Put the game away and come downstairs, now." "No, Dad," Timmy said. "Timmy!" "Leave me alone." Timmy turned to face the screen. As if on cue, the beautiful Gaia appeared on the screen and smiled at Timmy. His grey skin was left behind, replaced by red from his blushing smile. "Turn it off, Timmy," I whispered. Gaia winked at me in response. "Go away, Dad," Timmy repeated. "I have to make her happy." Thank you so much for letting me share my story with you. If you want to hear more Hampton tales, please subscribe. My full collection, Flowers That Bleed, A Gallery of Tragedies, is available now on Amazon. Click the link in the description. It means the world to me to be able to share my stories with you. Thank you.